Hello and welcome back to the Cricket Draft Show. My name is Dan Jadzevics and I'm delighted to say that I am joined by Hampshire legend Kyle Abbott this week. Kyle, how are you?
Yeah, I'm very well, thank you. How are you?
Yeah, very well, thank you. Very well. How's the body feeling halfway through the 2025 season? That's a popular question to ask a fast bowler, isn't it?
Yeah, you know what, pretty good. I'm not too concerned about anything in my body at the moment. I've had the last two winters leading into 24 and the 25 season. I've put in some real extra yards and almost training like I'm 25, 26 again. That kind of disciplined and probably as hungry as I have been to keep playing. You kind of dip in and out of your career a little bit when it comes to that. At the start, you're pretty amped to impress and be as fit as you can, and then maybe coast a little bit, and then you realize it's towards the end, so you pick up a few gears. So yeah, touch wood, pretty good, and yeah, pretty happy with the way things are going.
That'll be music to the ears of cricket draft players in 2025. I don't know if you are aware or not, but you are currently the number one player amongst everybody in the county championship for the cricket draft game at the moment. That's fantastic.
Yeah, to be honest, I only heard about that this morning. It's pretty cool, I guess. Didn't really expect that, but if I kind of look back and break it down over the season, got a couple of valuable runs down the order, and obviously top of the wickets, which yeah, I don't think I'd pick myself. I think there's some other genuine all-rounders out there, but I'd probably pick myself as a out-and-out bowler if I had a choice.
See if we can get a cricket draft trophy for the end of the season from the producer. It might be coming your way down to the south coast. Yeah, it's been a fantastic start. Again, another thing that you may not have been aware of, but in the last 3 of the 4 weeks, you've been part of the dream team, which is basically the top performers, which may not come as that big of a surprise, seeing as you're the best player in the game right now. 3 fifers, top of the wicket taking charts as well across both divisions with 37. There's some other stats here. 92 maidens across 275 overs. Is it coming out as well as it ever has?
Yeah, when you look at numbers, it's pretty easy to say that. There's been a few factors this year that I think has sort of, let's say, influenced the way I've gone about it more from a mental side. I haven't had the backup of Mohammed Abbas and Keith Barker this season, where I was slipping into that first change and just kind of carrying on a fantastic job that they did up front. And I think I probably almost allowed myself to get into the season a little bit easier and not put pressure on myself to hit the ground running. And as you've seen probably in the last couple of years, or the trend through my entire county career, is I pick up quite a bit of wickets in September, where I really start to peak, and having bowled through the summer and really getting into rhythm. Where this year, a younger attack, obviously the most experienced, I've really made a conscious effort of stepping up a lot quicker. Have I changed anything? Absolutely not. Still, there's a lot of luck involved in bowling, but I do feel the way I've worked throughout my entire career, as you mentioned the maidens there, I put a lot of investment in, and it's a funny game, as you saw in Essex this weekend, 5 in the first innings and nothing in the second. That's exactly how cricket works. But another 20 overs in the second innings, not going at much. I see that as an investment now for Worcester, where it's going to pay off. And you know what? It might not be Worcester now. It might be Notts at home end of July. It might be Worcester away in a couple of games' time. But that's kind of how I've always played my career, and I feel as long as I'm putting the ball in the right area for long periods of time, batters are going to make a mistake, and I'm going to get through that defence at some point.
Sounds like another good reason for people to stick with you and get you in their teams as well for the rest of the season. You preloaded a couple of questions there that I've got noted down here, which is fantastic. You mentioned about the change in the bowling attack down at Hampshire. Start with, you said a younger attack. We'll start with talking about Sonny Baker and Eddie Jack. Firstly, 2 phenomenally impressive young seam bowlers. How much time are they spending kind of tapping on your shoulder, asking you for advice, what they can do, what they should be doing, anything like that? Is that something that you're working on with those 2 young guys?
Yeah, absolutely. Eddie Jack, I've been fortunate of playing with before in 50 over competition over the last couple of years. He's a very keen learner and a great professional. And playing with him in his first game for Hampshire in first class cricket this weekend was pretty special. He bowled some good pace on the first day, and then as the game moved on and plans and tactics changed, he adapted really well. Obviously, still very raw, but exactly what you expect at 19. But he's got an incredibly high ceiling and is very keen to learn. As for Sonny Baker, a strange one. I came in with a perception of him perhaps not wanting to ask too many questions because we're very different bowlers. He's 90 mile an hour bounces and all sorts, and quite an X factor where I'd say I'm a bit more boring and traditional when it comes to top of off with the odd bouncer here and there. But he's been all ears. He's been absolutely fantastic. Recall a game at the Oval where I was on the boundary and he made a point of calling me across to ask something in his over at quite an important part of the game. So that's all you can ask for from these youngsters. One thing I just really hope is that they keep bowling and they don't rest too much. Unfortunately, for whatever reason, modern day thought is that bowlers need to rest, and yes, they do, but they also need to bowl, and they need to bowl a lot of overs because there's nothing you can train for bowling off the field in the gym or anything else. You can help yourself, but you've got to be fit for purpose. There's only one way to learn how to bowl those long spells or those tough spells, and that's by being out there. It's not by bowling 6 or 7 overs in the nets and doing an hour in the gym. You're not going to get there. So I really hope their messaging going forward from anyone, from myself, from the powers that be, just to keep bowling and get bowling fit.
I think Hampshire fans and England fans will be excited to see them bowl as much as they possibly can. There's a question that's come in from Dan on X, and we've spoken about some youngsters. You've already mentioned him already, but this is about Mohammed Abbas specifically. Obviously, he's moved on now. He's no longer at Hampshire. He's gone up to Nottinghamshire. Just kind of ask you the question of how fun it was opening the bowling with Mohammed Abbas for such a long period of time.
Yeah, incredible. He's such a. I'll start with he's an incredible human being. Incredibly humble person, willing to share knowledge across anything, conditions, ball, whatever, and a high amount of skill. I've come across it a few times talking to subcontinental pace bowlers, just the way that they play with their pace, not necessarily bowling slow balls, but just kind of, he calls it like maybe a 70% ball, and then he goes 100% and suddenly hits the batter on the pad. So incredibly skilled, and yeah, I've missed him this year. You know what you're going to get. There's 25 overs from one end that you don't have to worry about. You don't have to talk to him. You know exactly what he's going to do. So yeah, I chat with him quite a lot. It's great to see him doing well up at his new home. But yeah, we certainly do miss him down here.
Phenomenal cricketer. We've spoken a lot about bowling. Let's talk about batting. This is again preloaded, but this is something you might not be aware of. You have the second highest strike rate across all players in Division 1, behind Ben Duckett, who's hitting them quite well at the moment. Is that something that you were aware of? And the follow-up question is, do you enjoy your batting as much as your bowling?
Yeah, I wasn't too aware of it. My dad is a little bit sharper on stats and whatnot. He quite enjoyed that one, so I think he sent it to me yesterday or so. Every bowler loves their batting, because if they're out there every minute, they're out there, they're not got the bowling shoes on and running in. So we do enjoy our batting, that's for sure. It's been a bit of a mindset change this year. I've tried to, in the years gone by, actually tried to play like a batter and build an innings and that. And this year I just thought, I'm down at 9 and 10. I'm gonna try play almost like play 50 over cricket, try and attack it, try hit gaps and run hard. And if I see a ball, if it's my first ball or if it's my second ball, if I recognise it, as long as I practice and I back myself to do that, I'm gonna go for it. And yeah, it's been now. There's been situations here and there where you got to read the game. Up at Notts, we were pretty close to the follow-on with 9 down, just trying to avoid the follow-on. So there was a lot of time there we had to absorb 4 balls or so from Mo or Hutton at the time, and then try to get a single and let Sonny Baker only face 2 balls at the end. So yeah, there are times you've got to kind of shift gears and that, but yeah, I like to think it's not my job down there. If we're getting to me and we're really scraping for runs, it's been tough. But yeah, I just try to keep a positive mindset, try to hit boundaries, and if it's not there, try to defend.
Spot on. Let's talk about cricket balls. We've just got to the end of the Kookaburra round. We've got 3 more to go. The question is, from an operator's perspective, we can talk so much kind of behind on the other side of the boundary rope about whether the trial's worth it, whether it isn't, what the differences are. But from a bowling perspective, from a high-skilled seamer, what are the differences between the 2 cricket balls, and how much does that affect your, not mindset as such, but your game plan going into a game of 4-day cricket with a Kookaburra ball?
Yeah, there's quite a big difference. Let's talk about that first. The first thing, the seams are quite drastically different. On a Kookaburra, they're quite flat and quite wide. Where your Dukes is a little bit thin and quite a bit more pronounced. So you're obviously getting, even on a flattish pitch, you're still getting seam movement from a Duke at some point. Although we have found, come 25, 30 overs with the Duke, they are getting quite soft. That window on a Kookaburra is just a little bit closer. You probably got 12, maybe 15 overs before you can start to hear it off the bat. It really goes soft. The exciting thing, or I suppose the skill development with playing from these Kookaburras, is you go to very different fields quite quickly, a lot straighter fields. Bowling a lot straighter at the stumps. This week we had a little bit of a cross breeze, which helped, but even when it didn't blow that hard, we got the ball to reverse because it was quite a dry surface. They played quite a few T20s on it, so it was very abrasive very quickly, which you don't often get. I can probably count on one hand through the last 12 years of county cricket with the Duke how many times it's reversed. And even sort of at international cricket, I feel like the last ball I saw reverse was Simon Jones to Michael Clarke back in 2005. That's our,
as well, wasn't it?
Quite a while. Maybe that's being a little bit dramatic. But yeah, it kind of goes quite subcontinent, and that brings in a new challenge and a new skill within its own. Like I said, different fields and that. But it's also quite exciting because you're kind of going at the pads and the stumps every ball, where a Duke nipping around beginning of April under lights on a green one, you might have 15, 20 plays and misses that aren't even hitting the stumps, or it's just doing too much, and you can get quite frustrated. Where this, you know it's going to go that way, and you buy into it, and yeah, your window of patience just has to be a lot wider. And accept scrappy wickets. Enjoy the scrappy wickets. No one really wants to get a caught cover or a little flick off the pads caught mid-wicket and that. But there it is. My first one over the weekend was that. So you're not going to get the pretty ones I've nicked off for bowling someone through the gate or something like that. But like the shooty LBs or just some scrappy wickets, and you get quite dirty. And I always taking wickets on those feel a lot more rewarding than just bowling a team out kind of normally, because you walk off there and you're covered in dust and sweat and dirt and that, and it feels like you've really done some hard work. The reverse doesn't go as quickly off the pitches here as it does in South Africa and Australia, although it's in the air, but as soon as it hits the pitch, the pace is just kind of taken out of it, which kind of negates that movement through the air, which is a bit of a shame. It's a decent change up. I don't think 4 games is necessary. I don't quite know the reasoning behind it. But yeah, it can be fun. I don't want to do it every week though.
Fair enough. Hey, look, they all count. Doesn't matter how tough, doesn't matter how grubby, they all count as wickets, don't they? And they all count towards the statistics at the end of the year. Let's try and make you feel a bit warmer and fuzzier then about bowling, rather than kind of days and hours in the dirt. If you could take one of these cricket balls and take it to any venue in the world to go and bowl a spell from, what's getting you excited about that question? I think it'd probably be a Dukes, won't it, to answer the first question?
I'd probably pick a Dukes in somewhere like, maybe somewhere like the Wanderers in South Africa at the Bullring. That's got some good pace in it. Can nip around, can swing up there. It's got a little bit of everything. I remember in 2016, Stuart Broad got 8 for not much against South Africa. I was actually 12th man in that test. And that's kind of how I picture the Wanderers wicket. So you got the pace, you got the nip, you got the swing, and small ground, quick outfield. So I'm giving something back to the batters. But I'd probably take a Duke there and have a look. Yeah.
And giving something back to yourself as well, if this run scoring form continues at the back end of the innings. Hey, we'll just continue with regards to the grounds. There's another question that's come in on X. It's from Richard this time, and it's about a competition that's coming up this summer about the One Day Cup. And a lot of counties will kind of use outgrounds from that point, and a lot of nostalgia, a lot of romance around those grounds. And I think a lot of supporters really get excited about going away from the main ground. But do you have a favourite at
all? An outground?
Yeah.
Or just...
favourite outgrounds.
Favourite outground? We played a 4-day game on the Isle of Wight. Which is quite nice. Sorry, I know you're talking 4-day cricket, but I'm trying to think. We haven't played too many 50-over games in outgrounds, but
the Isle of Wight certainly counts.
Yeah, Isle of Wight certainly counts. Once off, I quite enjoyed. Where do Yorkshire play?
Scarborough.
Yeah. As a once off, I thought that wicket was beautiful to bowl on, and the atmosphere kind of created in that bowl there was pretty good. So yeah, I'd probably have those two as some decent outgrounds.
Final question before we let you get on back with your day and enjoying your days off before the county championship starts again. If you had to pick somebody as your cricket draft captain for the county championship, I mean, you're a great shout, to be fair. You could give yourself the armband and you do quite well. You get double points from your captain, but who would you be throwing the armband to?
The two that stick out straight away would be someone like Ed Barnard or Liam Dawson. I just think you need someone that's batting in the top 5 or 6 that score big hundreds, and then bowl. Ed Barnard bowls a lot more than a fourth seamer should, and he's very good at it too. I'd have to go Liam Dawson because I think he's going to bowl more overs, especially now as the summer gets drier. June, July, Dawson's going to be bowling probably close to 60 overs a game, which is going to be 25, 30 more than Ed Barnard. So I'm going to go with Dawson based on more overs bowled, but other than that, it would be touch and go.
I think you could probably guess that I'm about to say that's quite a popular pick for a captain in the cricket draft. Liam Dawson. What a phenomenal cricketer and teammate as well. Hey, what a player to share the field with.
Absolutely. If he got back in the slips, he would have been an easy tap-in, but he doesn't like the slips anymore.
Gutted. Well, I'm going to stick with him. He's definitely keeping the armband in my team. Kyle,
Absolutely.
Thank you so much for your time. Thank you for giving up those 20 minutes now to have a chat through about the county championship, about the draft, about your career and your season so far. Good luck for the rest of it, and we'll be keeping an eye on what happens for you. And hey, we'll see if we can get that trophy sorted and get it down to set at the end of the season.
There's still 6 games to go. Everything could change. I could be bottom pick by start of September. So this is a funny game. But no, thanks Dan. Thanks for having me. It's been really enjoyable. And enjoy the rest of the summer.